Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock, where it's a review of the movie The Midnight Meat Train. Chugga 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 chugga, oh boy. There's a killer on the loose on a subway train. And there's a photographer named Leon trying to figure out what on earth is going on. So, after several people board the midnight train, no, not to Georgia, and get brutally murdered, Leon decides to turn to be an investigator and decides to try to see what's going on. So he's taking pictures and all kinds of stuff, although some of his photography work is not exactly up to par by some of his bosses and things like that. So yeah, so then he kind of turns like Peter Parker and starts taking better pictures, but then of course nobody believes him that there's some maniac on a subway train chopping people up, hanging them on hooks, a whole 9 yards. His girlfriend Maya is wondering what's going on, and at first she doesn't believe him, but then when she starts seeing that he's taking more and more pictures of what's going on, she starts to really start thinking that maybe she should start believing him what's going on with him. So Leon winds up pretty much stalking our killer, whose name is Mahogany. It's nice, named after a wood. So one night, after more brutal killings, Leon decides to finally have it out with Mahogany on the train, and they fight. And Maya gets somewhat involved, gets knocked down to the ground in the ensuing fight. Leon knocks Mahogany off the train, but wouldn't you know it, he comes back. What a shock. And Leon finally impales him on a hook, in which Mahogany is able to say the only word in the whole movie for himself: welcome. The train winds up stopping down the way because the conductor explains to Leon what this is all about. He explains that Mahogany was killing people to feed these mutant creatures that live under the subway. Not quite like Chud, but you know. The conductor decides that since Leon killed Mahogany, he has to pretty much do to Leon what he did to Mahogany. Of course, it means ripping out his tongue where he's unable to speak. Puts this 8-pointed ring on his finger, and sometime later happens. Police chief gives a schedule to Leon, and Maya's dead. The movie stars Bradley Cooper, who you might know from the Hangover movies, Brooke Shields, Ted Raimi, Vinnie Jones as Mahogany, and Quentin Jackson as a guardian angel. So why did this movie suck? Well, I'll tell you something. This is a Clive Barker story-based movie, and it just seems like that Clive Barker cannot seem to get out of this whole thing about doing movies about demons from hell and weird creatures from hell, and it just kind of goes on and on and on like that. It was quite a bit predictable at times, and it kind of had this feeling of, you pretty much know what's going to happen because it's kind of been beaten to death kind of story. And I don't know why at the end of the movie they decided to kind of make it seem like, well, who's the police chief giving the train schedule to? And we all know it's Leon, because Leon gets his tongue ripped out. He's supposed to be the new midnight meat train killer. And yeah, some annoying characters in the movie, but they wind up getting killed off, so you don't have to worry about them for very long. But it is basically your typical Clive Barker gore fest. A little over the top on gore at times, a little dark at times too, and this one I just was not a really big fan of. I have enjoyed some of Clive Barker's Hellraiser movies, but this was something I was not crazy about. Again, you know, they try to. You just have this feeling of deja vu, like you've seen this kind of movie before. And I will give it credit, though. I mean, you know, pretty original, having things happening on a subway train of its own. But ultimately, you just kind of get this feeling of you've seen this kind of gore before in Clive Barker movies, and yeah, wasn't big on it. I can't badmouth it too much, but that's really all I can really say about it. Wasn't big about it. So, but there you guys have it, a review of The Midnight Meat Train. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. If you have a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, or fantasy horror movie that took place in a plane, a train, or an automobile, that was weird, send it my way and I'll get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching, and until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.